Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, First Community Financial Bank, the community bank where you come first. You're watching Spotlight, and with me today in studio are members of Mutual Ground, Executive Director Michelle Meyer and Special Events and Marketing Coordinator Jocelyn Padilla. We're so happy to have you in the studio with us.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Well, good. Now, we haven't had you in for a long time, I think, so recap and tell us a little bit about the mission of Mutual Ground.
Sure. So our mission at Mutual Ground is to provide education, awareness, and life-changing services to individuals, families, and the whole community to end the cycles of domestic and sexual abuse. And in order to do that, we provide a three-pronged approach, which is intervention, prevention, and ongoing services.
Okay, so before, during, and after.
Yeah. So in the prevention program, we provide prevention education presentations to kids as little as preschool all the way up to high school seniors and some college level. And little kids, we're talking about personal body safety, nobody touches you on your bikini area, screaming no, telling a trusted adult. When we get into junior high and high school, we're talking about dating violence and sexual assault and sexual awareness. And then when we get into high school, we're talking about, cyberbullying, sexting, and all of those things that the kids are starting to get into. Beyond that, we do a lot of prevention work just in schools, in churches, civic clubs, wherever we can, and wherever we can get out and talk about domestic violence and sexual assault, we will to get the word out about how important it is. In the intervention program, we have 2 crisis lines. We have a shelter where we have 28 beds and 7 cribs. We have a program that goes into the area emergency rooms when victims present there. We have a department that goes into the area courthouses when victims need to get a protective order or navigate the criminal justice system. And then we also have crisis intervention services, so somebody could just walk in off the street or call in a crisis, and we would be able to handle that.
Okay.
In our ongoing services, we're providing basically just what I said, ongoing services. So we're providing counseling both on individual level and on a group level so that people can continue to get the help they need to become healthy and happy.
Okay, that's a lot of services.
It is.
It's a lot of services. And now, Jocelyn, where are you serving? What's the area?
Yeah, we serve Southern Kane and all of Kendall County, so we do have a fairly large service area.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
We serve about 1,500 clients a year, and 400 of those are children.
Wow, that's a lot of children.
That's a lot of children.
Yes, it is. How long have you been in business? How long have you been going?
We have been in operation since 1975, so we just celebrated our 40th anniversary last year.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It is. So we're one of the largest and oldest agencies of our kind in the state of Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say it's exciting, it's not exciting that you have to be in existence in the first place, but it's exciting that you've been able to keep going, and obviously that speaks highly to the services that you're providing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how often this is happening. It happens behind closed doors a lot of times, but it's happening more than people think, and so we're glad that we're able to be there whenever people need us.
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah. Now, Michelle, you gave us kind of a very large overview of the kinds of services that you provide. Talk a little bit about some of the specific things you're doing in the schools. Give us some examples maybe of what people could expect if Mutual Ground were to come into their building.
Sure. So if we're talking to little kids like preschool, kindergarten, we're going in and we're talking to them about how the only people that touch you in your bikini area are a doctor or your parents to keep you clean and healthy. We're practicing screaming no if somebody were to touch a kid or a child inappropriately. And then we're talking about who they're going to tell, who is the trusted adult that they would tell if something was happening. We actually had not too long ago a social worker email us and say, thank you so much for coming to our first grade class. We actually had a first grader come up to her teacher after we were done giving her presentation and say that this had been happening to her for a long time, but she didn't know it was wrong until we were in there talking about it. And then, now she knows it's wrong. Right. They were able to call her parents in. Her parents were able to get the police involved, and luckily this little girl was able to come in for counseling then and get the help she needs so that hopefully she can live a happy, normal life moving forward.
Okay. Now, how many people do you help each year? I mean, how big of a problem is this that you're serving each year?
So, as Jocelyn said, we serve about 1,500 clients a year. About 400 of them are children, and I think people forget that children are often the silent victims in all of this because everything that happens in their household obviously affects them too.
Sure.
And then we serve about I would say 1,300 of our clients are domestic violence victims, and then about 300 or so are sexual assault victims. And in our sexual assault program, we're not only able to work with the client, but we're also working with that client's family or non-offending significant other, because obviously when something like this happens, it affects the entire family, not just one person.
And all their relationships with other people, that whole level of trust and
Absolutely,
all of that.
yeah. Any type of trauma like that that occurs is going to have a huge effect on your entire life,
Right.
your work, your school, your relationships, just about every facet.
And you mentioned now you have the shelter, and how many does that serve?
We have 28 beds and 7 cribs.
Okay.
We're usually hovering around 5 to 10 women and 13 to 16, 17 kids.
Okay.
So we've been actually pretty full.
Okay. Now, Jocelyn, how could somebody contact, if I thought, in the one case you went into the school and that manifested itself in somebody reaching out, but
Right.
if I were not in that situation, but I thought maybe I do need some services, how would I get in contact with you?
Yeah, we have 2 24/7 hotlines
Okay.
available in both English and in Spanish.
Okay.
And we are also on Facebook, so you can send us a Facebook message and we can lead you to the right person to talk to.
Okay. Now, when I call the hotline, do I leave a message or am I speaking to a live person?
You are speaking to a live person, and beyond that, all of our services are provided in both English and Spanish.
Okay.
And so if somebody calls who speaks Spanish only, we can accommodate them. And I think everybody needs to know that, every time somebody calls in, everything is confidential.
Right.
And we aren't monitoring the lines or anything like that. And I think the other thing I'd like people to know is you can call in if you just have a question. I think sometimes people think, oh, that's a battered women's shelter. I don't need to call there. It's not that bad. But sometimes you're just wondering, like, this doesn't feel right, something's wrong, or maybe you're worried about your neighbor, your friend, or your coworker. You can always call in our hotline and ask questions, and we'd be happy to answer them.
I think that's great. I think that's really great to know, because I think people are nervous, and I think sometimes your instincts tell you maybe something isn't right, but you don't know where to go. So it's really good to know that that's okay. It's all right to call in and get some information.
That's why we're here.
That's great.
Yep.
That's great. Now, if the viewers wanted to help you, what could they do to be of service to Mutual Ground?
Through donations. It is really, all of our services are free for, counseling services. So donations definitely help. And then we also have a monthly giving program that we have recently partnered with State Street Jewelers in Geneva with. And those who pledge to donate $40 a month, they get a specially custom made.
It's like a pendant necklace
Oh,
that they designed
a show
for
of
us.
support?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
completely original, and it's very cool. So they get one of those if they become a monthly donor.
That's
Yeah.
great.
That helps us out a lot.
Yes. Well, you guys are doing great work, and we're very grateful for it. We know that the people that you serve are very grateful that you're there. And if you would like to learn more about how you can support Mutual Ground, where healing begins, please visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Spotlight, so stay with us.